Hi everyone, welcome. In today's session, we'll talk about how to implement data-driven framework through Selenium. We already covered a lot of videos on how to automate using Selenium, TestNG, and everything. So we by this time you know everything. I mean to say TestNG, what is TestNG, XML file, how to run from a batch, and also we know a couple of scenarios how to automate through Selenium WebDriver. So now the important thing here is like how to develop a framework from scratch. So we'll take a data-driven framework as a basic. So in my previous videos, you might have seen like what are generally frameworks, what are different types of frameworks are there, and and how to what are the pros and cons of each framework. So in this session, I'm going to talk more about data-driven frameworks and how to implement from scratch the data-driven frameworks using Selenium and TestNG. Okay, so what is data-driven framework? Generally, we keep the data outside the system. I mean to say outside the script and store it in some Excel files or whatever, and load these whenever required through our automation scripts and make use of these data. So basically, we are trying to separate the code. Data keeping a separate file, and the script are stored in a separate different reusable components. So this framework tend to reduce overall the number of scripts that you need in order to implement your all the test cases, and it's more flexible when it comes to develop any workarounds or like to maintain the scripts pretty easy. And it will be like much like a table driven, like, or you can call it a data driven testing, like keep the data outside the system and start uh, automating the test cases. So in simple, I can say, let's say we record and playback of a booking a ticket from New York to London. So when you record, this is how this captures through any of the tool. For example, I'm taking this for a QTP. Okay. Now the better approach would be like instead of this, the data is sitting inside your scripts basically. You need to separate this data. Okay, and even the script also. So I mean to say, like, you can create a login separate class, and you can separate the data and keep them in a Excel sheet. Booking is from and to. We keep all this data in a separate Excel sheet, and logout, of course, to a separate function. So I mean to say, create a reusable functions and the data in a separate file. So this is a very high level, in general, what is framework and what is the data-driven framework especially, and how to separate your data and keep it as a separate function and run the show. Okay, we'll take one example. In this case, I'll take quicker.com. Okay, Quicker is a very popular tool. Okay, you can post the ad, you can sell by whatever. So I'll log in to Quicker using one account here, contact Selenium, and you can we'll do one thing, like we'll run couple of use cases over here. Like you can post the ad once the login is successful. You can register with a new user, and also you can change the password. You can do a lot of ad management over here. So I'll take some couple of use cases and try to automate. Okay. So once I log in, I should be now I'll go to jobs and I'll click on freelancers. Okay. You'll get this page and you'll try to fill all the data over here. So all the data in the sense, what is the mandatory data? For example, what is the employer? And you can see the ad name. And also click on add photo here. You'll get one pop-up that is to attach a file. And these scenarios already we have covered in one of the WebDriver sessions. So I'll take the same concept. I'm going to, using Auto IT tool, we'll do this. And we know how to automate now all this drop-down list. So everything we covered in our previous session. Okay, and whatever the fields you see, right, there are a lot of fields, around 10 to 15 fields. We'll keep this all data in a Excel sheet. For example, I'll just open one Excel sheet. These are the test cases we'll now create in. We'll create basically separate classes and we'll drive through Excel file. I can say login, you can post, you can register, you can search for a car and send SMS. A lot of scenarios are there. Login, I'll just keep all the username data information in this file and I'll make this as true. You want to post ad, yes. So these are the things like what are the fields you can see in the screen, right? Everything is captured and with the data in this sheet now. Say for example, education. So when I go to education, yeah, here automatically it should select graduate. Okay, so this graduate or whatever the data, it's not hard coded in your anywhere in your script. Basically, this is sitting totally outside the system. Okay, and I kept this as true. Whenever I say true, it's going to pick this test case and run. Okay, so when you go back to our code or structure, right? So basically, it will look like this. We have we'll create a new framework, the framework. All the folder structure and everything, we keep the information. So I'll explain about this folder structure. Just a base. Okay. So this is the overall plan that we are going to achieve from scratch. Okay. I have some folder structures over here, and I have like files. What are the files we need to run the show, and also what are the tools we require to automate these things. Tools already. I just made a basic plan how to approach this before even starting your code, right? So these are the folder structure. We have data table is nothing but contains the XLS reader. It's a basically class which contains all the XLS common function how to read, write to data to an Excel, right? We're going to write those common functions, keep it in the XLS reader. Configuration is a separate package wherein it contains three different sets. Like we have OR, that is nothing but object repository files, and configuration and controller. To see the code, configuration is nothing but simple which site you want to log in, you want to access, and which browser type you want to automate, where you want to keep the screenshots, and OR property I told you is the object repository. This object repository will hold good for this application only. We store all the object, the XPath, CSS ID, right? Everything is stored in a separate file. We're not going to hard code anything. So generally, while developing the script in WebDriver, you might have seen driver.findElement. Okay, I'll just write a pseudo code here. Element, and you'll say by XPath, right? So everything was hard coded here. I mean to say the path, the XPath, and if it is data, right? So let's say send keys, and used to keep the data over here. What is the data? Okay, now data is sitting in your Excel file like this here, and your object, say the object nothing but the repository, the whatever the XPath or CSS, it is stored in here. Okay, so we're not going to hard code anything. So you are basically at runtime, your script will look like this. We're going to call this registration link or whatever registration name over here instead of XPath, right? We're calling this name, and this data, whatever you say, it should come from your Excel file. Okay, so this is all about object repository. Come back to plan, and also the controller. Yeah, controller I just showed, right? So controller nothing but to run the test cases. What are the test cases you create, right? To run the test cases and keep the data in a separate sheet. This is my controller. So I'll be calling this controller.xls file and running the show. Okay, and coming to plan once again. We have listeners. Listeners contains one of the class that is the test listener adapter. So this is used to any failures are there, automatically it will log and it will be merged to your result basically. When I say result, nothing but we are going to generate this XSLT output. This we have already covered in one of the TestNG session. What is XSLT? How to We also covered report NG also. So I'm using XSLT here, TestNG result. And what are the failures you see, right? So everything will be captured this report. Okay, and come back to plan once again. Logs, these are nothing but application logs. So logs, I told already we are going to use log4j, Apache log4j plugin to log each and every test actually. Log in the sense like the debugging, what's generally it's happening. This is how it looks. Okay, and utility we are going to create, and utility also is very important for us. So we're going to create error utility packages, the class files. Okay, and send mail, how to send a mail, whatever. So once the test case is completed, right, we want to send a mail to the team or management. And test utility is it's going to extend the test base class and we're going to write some common functions like login, logout, okay, and whether to see whether the test case is skip or not. Skip in the sense we can make this as y and n. So before even running this test case, we're going to check whether really it's set to y and n. So these kind of common functions we're going to write it in a separate class files. Okay, there is a utility package. Okay, and once this is done, we have XcelT reporting also. I told already, report TNG or XcelT report, both are same. We're going to create that in a separate package, and we're going to use this XSL reporting. Okay, and the suite.test is our core business test or use case resides here. We create a test base class and we initialize all the properties. Okay, and we're going to write all our use cases. Like for example, here I've written login test cases. Okay, login, password change, post an ad, registered, search for the cause and send SMS. I told already in quicker what we're going to achieve. Okay. So I'll go to quicker. We can log in, we can post the ad. This is the ad screen. We can search for the cars. For example, I'll search for okay, I'll go to home and I'll select a city as Bangalore. It's pretty slow. Okay, here I can click on cars. Okay, I'll get one search screen, default screen, wherein I can select what kind of car you're looking for. This is the same use case we're going to automate shortly. Like Ford, I click, it will refresh the page, and I'm going to select the model as Figo. Okay, once I select, I'll get a number of cars list in the page. So what we are trying to achieve here is we'll run through each case by case here. I'm going to click on this image. Okay, once you click on this image, it will give some information about this product, and I'll click on the send this ad to me. So these are all the pre-filled data. I'm going to click on SMS button. So after some time, you should be able to receive this ad to your mobile. So what we'll do, we'll know how many images are available in the screen. It's going to click one by one, and it's going to send SMS to your mobile. This also we'll try to automate. Log4j I told is nothing but Apache Log4j for logging. And build.xml, already you guys know, we covered in one of the Ant session, like what is there in build.xml, how to call testng file. And in testng XML, we will call all our test cases, I told, right? So there is a login test case, there is a post ad, there is a search for cars, whatever the class you create here, right? You want to call through testng XML file. So once we have done this plan, then what are the tools we require? Already you guys know this. So Apache, I'm using 1.9.1, testng 6.8.5, Java 1.6 or above. Segzone jobs, this is for your XcelT reports. I'm using 8.7. WebDriver 3.3, or you can download from net, like the latest version. And Apache POIP. So this is another job going to handle especially for the Microsoft documents. I'm using version 3.9, I believe. Okay, so these are jars we require, these are the files, and these are the structure we're going to plan shortly. And in the next video, we'll see like from scratch how to create a project, how to create this folder structure, and step by step everything I'll show. So be more patient, because we initially get a lot of errors, because there's a lot of dependency between these jars, or these classes over here. We'll to create and solve that by one. Okay, once we are run the script, right, generally this is the output we get. Already I showed, I think it's there. Yeah, this is the output we get, and we'll try to achieve this. So thanks guys. Next video we'll watch from scratch.